Hello, my loves. Welcome into this Aries new moon Act 2 solar eclipse reading for those who have this new moon in Aries in their ninth house. That means you have Leo rising using the whole house system, or that 29 degrees 50 minutes of Aries shows up in your ninth house using another house system. Welcome in. If you have not already watched the introduction to this reading, I highly recommend it. You may get lost in the weeds here as I am doing a different intention for this reading and sharing an understanding that I've been studying, a new biological discovery about the origins of the human species that I think has a huge impact on everything. And this beautiful solar eclipse is really inviting us all into a deeper level of truth, awareness, and understanding, and huge energies in play here. So I've been invited to set the intention to help us be freed from the human condition with these readings. And so that is the goal that I have set here. But understanding what the human condition is really important here. And we're going to relate back to the card reading that we had for Act 1 of this new moon double feature, and relate that to the human condition as well. So your card was Shield Yourself, and the message is protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. We did a beautiful practice in that reading, so if you want to shield yourself and have a visualization for that, you can revisit that video. I'm just tapping in here and seeing where I want to go with this. This content has philosophy written all over it, spirituality written all over it. There's so much that this content explains and helps us to understand that it is very spiritual in nature. And I feel like as you really start to learn about the human condition, you start to talk about the human condition, you start to see the areas in your life where the human condition has been playing out. There may be fear-based energies coming from yourself or coming from others that you're going to be dealing with. So shielding yourself against those energies is really important. One thing that I experienced when I first started understanding this material, I've been on a 6-month journey myself with this energy, and we're entering a 6-month cycle that the intention for this reading is to be held for. So over these last 6 months, there has been a lot within me that has been putting up a fight. There's been pieces of my identity that haven't wanted to release their hold over my life and the way that I do things. So that might be coming up for you as well. And also, as you share this content and information with other people, because why wouldn't you want to share it, right? It's good news. If you really understand what this content is saying, it's great news for humanity. But when you share it with others, the parts of them that don't want to dive into their shadows in order to go through and get to the other side and into the light, their fear energies may come through. Another thing that may be happening, sorry, my OCD's kicking in. Another thing that you may encounter, that we may encounter collectively, but you specifically are being told this, my beautiful Leo risings, humanity is about to go through a huge trial. And a lot of fear-based energies are going to come up. We're going to see the human condition get louder. And so in the face of this human condition, we need to shield ourselves. We need to know what our truth is. You, my beautiful Leo risings, can stand in that lion strength, that lion pride that's very strong and courageous, but not very strong and courageous, but not forceful, but not aggressive. And you can stay true to what you know, what this content is opening you up to know, and protect yourself from the harsh or fear-based energies that are playing out on a collective level. Because what's happening is this all needs to come up so that it can come out. Regardless of whether we want to go through our shadows, regardless of whether we want to see the shame, the source of our shame and guilt, the source of the reasons why we act competitively with each other, greedy to each other, selfish, manipulative, jealous, angry, alienated, the reason we treat each other with so little love is explained by this human condition. And this is the antidote. But we may see the poison get to more drastic levels before the antidote can be applied on a collective level. We're all doing the work individually. If you're here with me still, you're doing the work. And I see you and I appreciate you for doing this work because it's not easy. I had a whole ceremony with whether or not I really wanted to do this. And I've been nervous the whole time I've been recording these and really feeling out of my comfort zone. But my Aries planet is Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion, and in the house of transformation, which is all about transformation. And so it really is, I'm lucky and expansive when I step out of my comfort zone, when I do something for the first time, and especially when it comes to transformative content. So here I am, offering the most transformative content I've ever encountered before I've really understood it, before I've really had a chance to perfect it, and doing so because now is the time. Aries energy is super highlighted with this solar eclipse. I cannot state it enough. There's going to be very, very intriguing things coming to the forefront for humanity to look at, to heal, and you're being guided to stay in your own energy, to shield yourself, picture a cocoon of healing light around you, to support the parts of you that have been hurt. So let's talk about those parts, okay? You did not get the loving and nurturing that you expected, that you was your birthright when you came into this world. You didn't get it. You might not have gotten anything that looked close to it. You might have just wondered why you had a loving upbringing but nobody else did, right? You may be on varying degrees of the scale. Regardless, you experienced trauma as a child, and part of you started to question, is this happening to me because I am unworthy? Is this happening because I've done something wrong? Or you knew you didn't do anything wrong and you acted out against that. You said I'm going to be my own person. I'm going to go out into the world. But that was still traumatizing to you because your soul wants to cooperate, wants to love, wants to nurture and be nurtured. And you were forced into a different way of being. And so there's trauma in that too. But there's also an identity that's formed itself around this trauma that could be causing a little bit of a hissy fit when it's confronted with this truth because it no longer serves a purpose. And we get to hold that part of us and love that part of us and thank that part of us for getting us to this point because it was necessary. We needed it. It saved us from what could have been our own death. Really, we could have checked out. We could have just said, no, I'm done with this existence. Okay? You're still here. You're listening to this. That didn't happen to you. So that part of you that either desperately seeks validation or desperately or aggressively asserts its worth to others, those are parts of you that are going to go away when you really understand this content and material, when you've opened your heart to receive it and you've seen the light that is at the end of what Jeremy calls Plato's cave. Well, it is Plato's cave, but he refers to it frequently in the context of this material. We're going out of the cave, okay? But as we get to the cave entrance, the parts of us that have identified with the shadows don't want to leave. And so we get to love those parts and really be compassionate for the way that they have served us, how they've gotten us to this point, and surround ourselves with healing light because we are going into a whole different place, a place where humanity acts cooperatively and lovingly and selflessly towards each other, it's going to be increasingly obvious the people who are competing, the people who are aggressive, the people who are greedy, they're going to start sticking out like sore thumbs, because it's no longer our good actions and deeds and selflessness is no longer about getting validated, which it has been up to this point. Our selflessness is going to be coming from a soul oriented place that's so pure, so beautiful, so undeniable, that anything that's not that is going to start sticking out like a sore thumb. And we're going to start seeing these energies as they become more and more obvious putting up a fight. It's kind of like a really dramatic actor taking a really long time to die. I used to do stage crew, and I would be backstage, and we had a death in one of the shows that we did, and we would time it. And every day, the death got longer and longer and longer. Every time we did the play, it was a minute and a half when it started, and I think it got up to like 3 minutes. And that's a long time in stage time, just so you know. And so that's kind of what's happening on a collective level. So that's what I'm feeling is these fear-based energies that this card is talking about. And in order for you to stay in this loving, healing, nurturing, soul-oriented place and not get drawn into the dramas, drawn into the distractions, really, because that's really what it is at this point. It's like, hey, look over here. We're going to get really loud so that you don't, do the peace and love thing, because that's not, greed can't exist there, and we kind of want to still be greedy. This is how it's all going to play out. I'm getting kind of lost in all of this, so hopefully I haven't lost you. I think this is complete. Let me just check in and see if there's anything else here. My beautiful Leo risings, 9th house Leos. This is a very spiritual thing. This is your spirit house, okay? So, your 9th house Aries, sorry. So when it comes to spirituality, you're like a do it first kind of vibration. You got the Aries vibe in your house of spirituality. Going out into the world with your spiritual knowing, with your spiritual understanding, with your spiritual identity, head first, like an Aries, like a ram, bursting forth head first. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you are going for it. That's how you're approaching spirituality. And with this truth behind that level of force, a level of trajectory, you have great power. You're very important at this time. We're all very important at this time, but this is your particular importance. You're leading the charge in the spiritual realm with this knowledge and understanding. So you're going to take some of the attack, and you just got to shield yourself and keep going, because we need you. That's it. That's all I got. Let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you have questions. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.